This week, conservatives are mad at, get this, Hershey's chocolate. Now, are they going after Hershey's for their participation in child labor, in which children in Africa are forced to work on cocoa farms? No. That would be going after real child abuse, and conservatives are sure as shit not ready for that. Instead, they opt to engage in even more anti-trans fear-mongering. Shocker. And this time, the source of their outrage is a Hershey's commercial in which a trans woman named Faye John Stone, who is an executive director for an LGBTQ plus advocacy group called Wisdom to Action, features a Hershey's wrapper with her featured on it. Also featured on the wrapper are the words her, H-E-R, and she, S-H-E. Get it? And because of this, the right wing is now calling to boycott Hershey's for promoting harmful gender ideology that harms kids or whatever the fuck. Okay, real talk, I really don't give a fuck about any of this beyond just making fun of it. Because what else can you really say? Conservatives are mad at essentially a candy wrapper. The thing you don't even look at for probably more than 2 seconds before you rip it up and eat your chocolate. If someone handed me Hershey's chocolate with a Faye John Stone wrapper, I wouldn't give 2 shits who's on that wrapper. I would be like, oh cool, chocolate. It could have someone spreading their asshole on the wrapper, and I would still gladly accept the chocolate. Now, this was done to commemorate Women's History Month, which we're currently in. That's what March is. And what gets me the most is it's fucking obvious Hershey's can't give a fuck less about social justice. This is all just empty virtue signaling in a shallow fucking attempt to appear progressive to people who don't know things like, again, Hershey's engagement in child labor overseas. It's like all of these corporations changing their profile pics on social media during Pride Month. Do these corporations actually give a fuck about LGBTQ plus people? Almost certainly not. They just want to appear progressive to sell you a fucking product. And these companies certainly know about the outrage their empty virtue signaling attempts spark among the right wing. The right wingers are the fish, the LGBTQ plus community are the bait on the fish hook, and these corporations are just fucking reeling in the controversy because it puts eyes on them. It brings attention to them and their product. And you may say, but it's negative attention. Do they really want negative attention? Oh, fucking trust me. Within like 2 weeks' time, everyone is gonna forget about this stupid fucking controversy. Like all of the other controversies among the right wing. Remember the Gillette ad? Remember non-binary Mr. Potato Head or whatever the fuck? Remember when they thought Dr. Seuss was getting cancelled because like 3 obscure-ass books he wrote with racist depictions within them were not being sold by his estate anymore? That must have been a blast to the past, right? Because no one fucking cares or talks about these things anymore. Because this is all just manufactured outrage. It's one controversy after another controversy after another fucking controversy. It's all peddled by right-wing grifters who want to make money off of you being upset. You want proof of that? Look no further than Daily Wire's new line of chocolates. From the Daily Wire's Twitter account, introducing Jeremy's chocolate. We have 2 kinds, he, him, and she, her. One of them has nuts. If you need us to tell you which one, keep buying Hershey's. Comedy gold, right? You've been telling the same joke for like fucking 10 years at this point, but it just never gets old. Anyway, the URL to buy these chocolates is IHateHershey's.com. Totally not pandering to outrage at all. Each chocolate bar costs $6.99, not counting tax and shipping. Well, I could just go to your local gas station and buy a Hershey's chocolate bar for like what? $1, $2? And if you want your more bougie chocolate, you could just go to your local store and buy some right now for around the same amount of money. Yeah, sure, there may not be the same there's only 2 genders joke that is so fucking hilarious 10 years later on the wrapper, but still, it's gonna be the same fucking chocolate more than likely. And here's the shit kicker, you can only pre-order this chocolate for now, because this chocolate doesn't release until I think late April, and more than likely no one is gonna fucking give a shit about this controversy by then. Because again, this is just like all of the other right-wing controversies, where right-wingers are being told to be mad at something for 1 week, and then the next week, they're being told to be mad at something completely different. It's all a fucking cycle. The Daily Wire is going to see an initial boom when this chocolate drops because of all the pre-orders right now, but I guarantee you, after that, hardly anyone is going to give a shit about this chocolate, because this controversy will be out of everyone's mind by the time it drops. The Daily Wire didn't put out this chocolate to fight wokeness or whatever the fuck. They put this out because they knew they were going to be gullible idiots who buy this shit to own the libs. But thankfully, it appears that at least outside of the internet, this is not a broad sector of people at all. A friend on Discord shared this with me the other night. From Pew Research Center, How Americans View Policy Proposals on Transgender and Gender Identity Issues, and Where Such Policies Exist. In recent years, many states have considered or enacted policies related to people who are transgender. On a couple of these measures, there is some agreement among Americans, but views of other policies are more divided, according to a recent Pew Research Center survey. Overall, just 8% of Americans say they're following news about bills recently proposed by several states related to people who are transgender, either extremely or very closely, according to the survey, which was conducted May 16th through May 22nd, among 10,188 U.S. adults. About two-thirds, 68%, say they are following news about these bills a little or not at all closely. You may say, well, this is from May 2022. This is kind of old, and it was only conducted among 10,000 U.S. adults. But look at midterms. That was projected to be a bloodbath in favor of the Republicans. Instead, they just barely won the House. For the past year, their leading issue is ending wokeness and stripping away the rights of trans people, and they have only doubled down since. And this just doesn't seem to be the home run issue they think it is. The average American doesn't give a shit about this stuff. Some may still think, yeah, I don't like trans people, but at the same time, this doesn't really affect my life in the slightest. How about enacting policies that actually benefit me instead of focusing on all of this anti-woke bullshit? It's mostly hardcore right-wing political pundits and online extremists who are continuing to beat this anti-woke drum, and the Republican Party is bowing to the whim of these people. Whether it's because these Republican politicians think this is legitimately the majority of the voter base, or they're just actually bigoted themselves, which, let's be honest, it's mostly the latter. But the bottom line is, your average American is not this hardcore culture warrior. They can't give a shit less about any of this, and yet conservatives want to treat all of this bullshit like it's something we should all seriously focus on. We'll see how this plays out in 2024, but for now, this seems to be a losing issue. Thank fucking God. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.